YouTubers. My name is Natasha Lamb. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and founder of Perspectives Counseling. And today we're bringing you a new episode of Perspectives Speak. Perspectives Speak, again, is a recording about the different challenges that we have to overcome in our day-to-day lives. We all know as human beings that we go through things, and sometimes by hearing the perspective of someone else, we're able to gain insight and clarity into how to deal with our own challenges. If you've not already, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can receive alerts and updates when new episodes are posted. Enough about that. Today's episode of Perspective Speak focuses on overall holistic health and overcoming challenges related to obesity. Today with me, I have Karmaria Negron. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you, Natasha, for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm so glad to hear that and so glad that you're joining us today. Karmaria, like myself, is a licensed clinical social worker. So both of our professions are very much based in helping everyone that we work with find an improved version of themselves in one way or the other. And today we're going to talk about how we have found better and improved versions of ourselves on our own journey. So, Karmaria, tell us a little bit about your start into taking steps to find that improved version of yourself.
So I can hands down say for me that it started when I was coming to the end of a very difficult counseling experience. And one of my colleagues had mentioned something about using some essential oils and using them with clients. And I'm like, oh, that'll be great. I'll do it. I bought them. I started using them for their anxiety, all the problems that my clients were having. And I thought to myself, why am I not doing this for me? And so hands down, I will say that that was the beginning of a connection, of a step on the right path. Like I'd been doing things for a long time. I'd done Weight Watchers years before. I'd tried Atkins and tried all kinds of diets.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I started using the oils that I think that something started to begin to happen up here.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that with us. So for you, the start was with the oils and recognizing you were making these wonderful recommendations for your clients, but had not yet engaged in using the oils for yourself.
Right. And at the time, I didn't even know what that meant. I just knew that the oils did something to your olfactory system and something with your limbic system and all these things that I had learned in trauma training and how aromatherapy works and understanding that, and that it really does help to shift how your mind functions, how your mind works, how your mind receives information and processes information. And so that, of course, I did not know.
Okay, going into it.
Very generally, but as I learned and as I continue to use the oils for things like, I just wanted to calm down, so I'll pull out lavender.
Okay.
Or my stomach hurts, so I think I need some peppermint, to help my digestive system.
Okay.
So I would use them for those things, but I didn't realize the mind-body connection that was starting.
Oh my goodness, you bring up a really good point with mind and body connection. We talk about that a lot in the weight training space and bodybuilding. And it's so interesting how much those are connected. And sometimes, we just move through life without really thinking about that connection. And in doing so, it costs us valuable time, is what we realize, because you're doing something, but it's not connected and it's not thorough. And
Exactly.
once you put both of those together, it's like, wait a minute, this is amazing.
Right.
So when you first started using the oils, how were they helpful to you?
For me, it was really about, using them for my body comfort. I use a lot of oils because we own a food truck and a restaurant. That's my other half, my other side. And so we've always been foodies. Food has always been, for me and my husband, a connector. And and the funny thing is, we didn't realize how connected it made us throughout the last 26 years. It was only in the last few years that we saw how much food played into our life and our intimacy, like as a couple.
Right.
And so for me, it was really to eat. Like when we would go eat and my stomach would hurt. I would be like, I don't want to be taking Pepto but the peppermint would alleviate any kind of feelings of nausea from overeating. I'm being real with you.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. And honestly, that's the part that pulled my kids into it. Like, and my husband, it was knowing that they could eat and then there would be relief afterwards.
Yeah.
That's really what it was. But also for calming, for, just smelling good. It just made you
Yes.
feel better. So,
Yes, they smell amazing. I've had the opportunity to smell some of the oils. I don't use them as often as I would like.
yeah.
So maybe I can converse with you about that afterwards. But it's interesting you talk about, the comfort that comes from the oils, and it helps to alleviate what's going on with the mind and the body.
Yeah.
And in looking at your history, like you said, you noticed that food was more so the bonding, the thing that you and your husband and possibly your family were connected over the tightest. And then when
Yeah.
you make a decision, we're going to do something different, that can be a bit of a challenge. So was that difficult for you all to come away from?
So I think for me, it honestly, I don't know how to say this in a politically correct way. It was kind of like, all right, I'm going to do this and y'all got to figure it out if you're not going to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I want to even go back because I remember when I went to a doctor's appointment, and that was the first appointment where my blood pressure was high. I don't remember what year that was, but I remember getting that report and her wanting me to put me on medication. And I was like, absolutely not.
Right.
And I want to say, even that was prior to me using the oil. So that even wasn't a catalyst for me to go, I need to do something, even though I thought that in my head.
Yes.
So it was when it got to the point like where I was, and I will say this too. What happened with the oils was it's I say oils like it's so simple, but really what it did was it opened the door to a community for me, a tribe of people. So, this crazy, Amy Jones, because I got to mention her in here because she's going to watch this. She's the one who did it. Hashtag Amy Jones made me do it. That's what
Amy.
Right. So she's the one who turned me on to the oils. But what happened was this community of people that were behind this organization that was working with the oils, for me, had huge impacts. And it was really in 2018 when I went to the first rally for the oils that I met everybody. And then that just changed that. So my mindset was already changing, but then my relations were changing.
Yeah.
Right. So I began to focus on what I needed to do. And as a, the creed of a social worker, we tell people, you have to change yourself first. You can't do anything for anybody else. How many times do we tell people, what did they tell you in the airplane, put the thing on first or everybody else is going to die.
Right.
So I kind of took that principle. So even though it was hard for the family, they understood I needed to kind of pave the way.
Right.
This for me, for us. So they got it. And I didn't feel bad about the fact that I was making different changes because I needed to understand it first. I can't be like, okay, we're all eating cauliflower rice now. Put away that stuff. Now do it. Like, well, first let me eat it. Let me see how this, is this, and then when they see, so it was hard. It wasn't hard because I didn't come in trying to change everybody.
Yes.
Really, except for my husband. He was the one. I'm like, you're doing this with me.
We're doing it together.
Right.
That's a very good point, because sometimes in making healthier decisions for ourselves, it's like you have to stake out in front of the pack.
Yeah.
And it can be scary trying to do it alone because it is unknown, it's uncertain. You're not really sure what you're doing, if you're doing it right. Just know, okay, I've got to give this a try and see where this goes. And, the beautiful thing is sometimes in doing that, the ones around you who love you the most will follow.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. If you have a supportive environment, they're going to understand what's going on and they're going to work with you. And eventually, and if you have a good relationship, they're going to trust you too.
Yes, absolutely. That trust is everything.
Definitely.
Yes. And so we sometimes set the mold, and, being wives, being moms, I know, we're all accustomed to that. We have to be the ones to say, all right, let's see how this works for the family or works for myself. And then can I implement it into my family? Exactly. And when you have that support, it just makes it so much more, it makes it less complicated. It makes it that much more fulfilling and exciting and adventurous. And it's something that you all are exploring together. So it's
Exactly.
beautiful that you were able to do that.
Yes.
And so it's interesting that you talk about this supportive community, because while you talk about that with the oils, that's how I felt first stepping foot into the gym, and not just running and doing the normal cardio I was accustomed to doing. And so it was very much my tribe,
Yes.
at the Masai YMCA in Fredericksburg,
Yes.
that really like took me under their wing. I didn't know what I was doing, if I was doing it right. I didn't know how to put a workout together. And it was just acceptance. It was no judgment. It was just all, how can we push each other to make each other that much better? And something was born there. And just like something was born with you and your tribe as far as the oils went.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so the oils, all right, you're in gear with the oils, you're using them, you see all the different benefits of using the oils. Where did you go from there?
So I knew I needed to start doing something with my body. So the lady who does the oils, our main lady, also does like a fitness club. She called Living Fierce Club.
Okay.
And so, or the Black Sheep Association, as we fondly like to call it, for those of us that are doing weird stuff that our families are like, what you doing? What you doing? Put those oils down, right? So it was, her whole thing was about mind, body, movement, food, and all the connection, that it's not just do a diet and lose weight. That's not going to stick if your brain doesn't understand why you are emotional eating every time somebody walks past you with the color green.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Like you need to have some deeper level of understanding about yourself and your world. And the funny thing is, it matched the social work creed. We don't just come in and say, oh, you have anxiety, let's lay on the couch and let's explore this. We talk about what's happening at home, what's happening at work, what's happening in your relationships, what's happening, what are you eating today, what'd you eat today?
Right.
Like, you had 20 cups of coffee and you're feeling anxious. Well, let's talk about that, because I don't know that that's really a mental. I mean, there might be something going on, but the anxiety might be related to the physical. So she brought that kind of eye-opening. It all connected for me as a social worker, that why am I not looking at myself this way?
Yes.
And then not just that, it was this idea of this, that if you have a vision and you attach to that vision and your mindset, you can focus and you're doing the things to bring your vision into fruition. And so we'd have these challenges, these 30-day resets, where we were, going between plant-based, fasting, nothing but water. Like it was, so for 30 days, we had this like rotation where we were pairing off of, you'd have meat for the first week, and then I was like, okay, well, let's take meat out of it. Let's take grains out of it, slowly taking things away.
Okay.
One day water. And it got to the point where I'm like, one day water, I'll be like doing 2 or 3 days with water, because it just became easy. It wasn't something that was years later though. But in the beginning, it was just understanding all of the parts of me that contributed to why I could not be my fierce self.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's a really good point. It's because it's so easy to externalize and blame everything, around you, everyone around you, and not understand that it's me getting in my own way. And it can be very tough to come to that realization.
Or even for me, where I would really, part of my diet, my daily diet, was waking up and I'd check the news.
Yes.
I'd do my devotions first, but then I go, kind of cancel that and watch the news. Right? Like, Lord, thank you for everything. Yeah. Like then it's like all that, by the way, here's all that stuff going on that you need to be ready for. So I didn't think about what that was doing to my psyche and causing this kind of split. Like 1 minute I'm in this place of visualizing goodness, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing the world for all of the things that are not good.
Yes.
And that's what I'm consuming as I start my day.
Right.
So then I'm thinking,
start your day. Yeah.
Right. So why am I feeling negative? Oh, okay. Instead of starting the day with things that fill me with hope and positivity, which we talk about, but we really don't do it.
Yes. Oh,
Not with consistency. So for 30 days, once a quarter. That would be something that would be consistent until it became 60 days. And then it's like, well, I might as well do this again. I'm going to do a reset just because.
Right.
So what happened was more things started opening inside my body. Once it got in my head with the oil, it really literally began to seep through my body.
Oh.
Got that? The play on the oil?
Right. Yes, thank you for that descriptor, but that makes, a lot of sense. And I mean, I tell people now I limit how much news I watch. I want to know what's going on in the world, but I realize if I put so much energy into what's going on, how that will impede, the type of person I am, mom, wife, therapist, because how much negativity, we take in, how that can affect our output. And I don't wish, my output to be affected by all these things outside of my control.
Exactly.
Can I have a hand in making the world a better place? That's my effort every day. I work with, the clients that I can see and serve, and my family and my friends. But, when you take it and you're taking on all this energy, like it goes somewhere and it affects the decisions we make, whether it's what we eat and what we're putting in our bodies or how we rest. We don't sleep well thinking about everything that's going on in this country and in the world. So, you brought up a really good point about having to learn self and increasing your awareness of what hinders our abilities to be the best version of ourselves, what gets in the way of that. And sometimes it's things that we do that contributes to that. So we've got oil seeping, we've got information flowing, and you understanding, having learned, okay, I can't cancel my devotion by putting, negative stuff in after I've gone to this peaceful place.
Yes.
And so with doing these different challenges and doing these 30, 60, 90, resets that came about, how did this manifest into what got you into the gym and got you moving and got you more active physically?
So there's where you come in.
Me?
So it's funny because I think what started happening, and my time framing is bad, but like in terms of exact times, what happened was my confidence level started to change. And by that time, you'd already moved to Jacksonville. So what the time frame is, because you left, you've been gone. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm feeling a little bold. We got a Planet Fitness that just opened up and maybe I can go to the gym. But I knew I did not have the know-how to go in and just do it myself. Like I could walk on the treadmill fine.
Yes.
And I get bored in the gym. I can't just walk on the treadmill. People were doing that for 60, 80, 90 minutes on the treadmill.
Right.
I'm like, there's not a show that I can watch that long. I just can't. For some reason, when I'm on the treadmill, I've tried. I can't listen to music. I can't. I need to have a very specific thing when I'm going there. Walk on the treadmill for 15 minutes, go do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then leave.
Yes.
Right? So what happened was I became a little bit more confident when I started messing with my mind and the oils were seeping and I was getting knowledge.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I need a personal trainer. I can't just have anybody though, because I was still, and it's funny because I was telling my husband the other day, when I look back then, I think I saw myself as I see myself now.
Yeah.
Right? Like in my eyes. So when I look at pictures, I'm like, who is that? What was she doing? Because I really did not see how much weight and inflammation and just I was tearing up my clothes. So I became more confident. And I think I was thinking and I knew you were posting pictures and I'm like, oh, Natasha, I don't even know if you posted about personal training. I don't even know why I asked you, but I thought she's a social worker and a therapist. If you're going to have a personal trainer, you want one with sensitivity and empathy.
Yes, absolutely.
Not somebody who's gonna be screaming at me like I had dabbled in CrossFit and it was great energy. Yes. But I needed someone to walk alongside my body.
Exactly, because that's a lot. CrossFit is very demanding and can be very intimidating, like you said,
Yeah,
coming in at that level of being expected to do all these things that, has you like, oh my goodness, what are these people doing?
burpee. Just say burpee. That's all you gotta say.
Yes, burpees. Oh my goodness. Necessary evil.
If I could do 2 modified burpees, I'm good. Two
Oh,
modified burpees, not 10, two.
right, too. But that's progress, right? That's
Yes,
good.
it is.
But
Like,
I love what you said about like looking back at the pictures. And, I just, for the life of me, kind of like what you said, what was I doing? Like, I still don't understand how I got to the place that I got to. And so for me, everybody, my biggest or my highest weight was 260 pounds. I was in a size 22, getting ready to max out in sizes at the local Rainbow shop. And this was back before the internet was like, you couldn't just order clothes. You had to go to the store.
you gotta go
And
to a
pick,
store.
yes, you had to go to the store and give away my age some and actually pick up your clothes. And I had my freak out moment. But I know my schedule was crazy. I know I had bad eating habits,
Yeah.
eating late, eating full dinners, frying everything, carbs, everything. So it's just a lack of know-how. And
Exactly.
then you talk about, for you looking back, and then you just like, where did this person come from? Like, how did I get to this point?
I'm glad I kept journals because I honestly would not remember what my max weight was if I hadn't. And I look back to one and again, this was max weight recorded. It could have gone over, but I don't think much. For me, it was 320.
Oh
And
my,
I remember telling myself at some point, well, I will never go over this,
yes,
but I did. I
yes.
think I stopped paying attention when I started creeping up. And I didn't see the person that was in front of me. I
Right.
felt my clothes were tight, like, and I was maxing out a size. I think 24 was getting tight. And that's
Yes.
when I was like, I can never go into any higher than this. And thank
Yes.
God the oils happened and thank all that stuff kind of came
Right.
because I
Yes.
don't know that I would have known where or what to eat. And the doctor did not really help me. It was,
Yes.
here, you need to do this and eat this way, and here's medication.
Right.
Which I was like, I don't want to be on medication at all.
Exactly. Like, can you give me a non-medication route?
Right.
And so often for our ailments, that's what we're
First
told,
thing.
Yeah, that's what we become accustomed to looking to
Yeah.
fix the challenges that we're having. And
Yeah.
so kudos to you for staking out on this path that when the doctor suggested that to you, thank you for your suggestion. But I'm going to go, this route that doesn't look very clear right now, but I'm going to see how this works for me. And on that path, look at the mental clarity that you gained, the understanding of self that you have acquired, the deeper understanding of self, the healthier dietary choices that you're making, the improved physical, activity that you're engaging in. So you got so much more by staking out on this path on your own than you would have got if you say, yeah, I'll take the meds, you
Well,
know?
and learning, like, I knew food, but I didn't know food.
Mhm.
So I'm not, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I'm not even telling people you have to make, like, I put on Facebook, I ate a Checkers. I do.
Yeah.
I like a
Yeah.
Checkers burger. I
Yeah.
can only eat half of it, but I will if, not all the time. But what I know is that I got to eat that early. I can't eat that at 6 o'clock at night. That's a, 11:31 between
Yes.
that time. You just,
Yes.
so it's not just change, it's like learning about food, what
Yes.
it does to your body so that you can mitigate it, so you
Right.
can respond to it, so that you can prepare for it. Like I said, this weekend we went out to eat, and I feel, I mean, I got a little, I feel it, but it'll pass through. I'm going to do my squats later today.
Right.
But you just kind of understand more so that you can
Right.
make responsible choices.
And it's a balance. The thing with fads that you brought up is it's this idea that, okay, I'm going to do this for X amount of days, lose X amount of weight. And then you go right back to the same habits and patterns that, led to you putting the weight on to begin with. And so by, to your point, understanding food and what it does to your body, and how much of it you should have and when you should have it, comes this knowledge that, okay, I can't have this often, and I can't have this late, or if I am going to have this early in the day, what am I going to do to compensate for that?
Exactly.
How am I going to be physically active? And if I'm not going to be physically active, then that means I don't need to have it. So it's changing the language, in our heads, where it's saying no at times to things that you really want. But I still go out to eat too. I mean, I know I post often, but that's part of the balance that makes this lifestyle doable.
Exactly.
Is that we can still have the things that we want in moderation, understanding what times a day is most beneficial.
Yep.
And then having an understanding that this is not a diet. It's not a a cutoff for life of not being able to have things that you love. There's no fun in that.
No.
And a lot of our mood has to do with the types of food we eat.
Exactly. So much. So much.
Yes. And so when you talk about, the oils, and then getting into the gym, and, like you said, being bored with the treadmill and starting to learn, okay, if I give it a plan in the gym, this is better. This is more challenging. I can get in, do these things, and get out. How did this start to come together for you? Having the oils, having the physical activity. When did you start to see this come together for you?
So I'm gonna say honestly, I would say 2019 going into COVID, because in 2019 I made some kind of decision to start going to the gym. And I remember you commented, you're like, don't hurt yourself, be careful, because I was going to the gym every day.
Yes.
But I was just walking on the treadmill for 30 minutes and doing some light, but I needed to get the habit
of going
every single day, so that when I began to take a rest day, my body would appreciate the rest a little bit more. And then also I would still be pulling me like, okay, you're not in the gym today. What's going on?
Yes.
Resting body, just leave me alone. So I was still, you know what I'm saying? Like that conversation was still happening in my head. So I was getting up in the morning sometimes, because it was Planet Fitness, and because I'm so busy, 3, 4, going, walking on the treadmill, just doing whatever, planking. I think my first physical actual exercise was planking. I started planking because it was part of a challenge, and I just kind of made that my thing. I'm like, you're going to do this, and you're going to do it every day until you, like, for however long you can.
Yes.
And then I started going to the gym every day. And then I mean, I'm not going to say we got sick at the end of 2019. I don't know what it was, but it was a respiratory issue. Sorry, guys. I was going to the gym every day. This is before we knew what was going on. I didn't know. Everybody's like, I don't know, I'm sick. What's going on? I don't know. Went to the doctor. It's not the flu. Everybody was going through this. Yes. I was going to the gym. I continued to go to the gym.
Right.
And I
didn't know.
Didn't know. But what I'm saying is that was unheard for me. I have asthma. So for me to be able to make that commitment, even going for 30 minutes, walking on an incline of 1, eventually got up to 15.
Okay.
It was because I was going every day consistently, and then challenging myself a little bit. I'd go up to incline of 5.
Good.
And then I'd right back down.
Yeah.
And then the next time I'd go, I'm going 6. I'm going to walk for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So for me, it was building on consistency.
Yes, that's so important.
And it wasn't that I was like, oh, all of these things are coming together. It was, I know I need to go to the gym every day. And so that was kind of where my focus was. And then the challenges would come around every 30 days or so, which would bring my focus to the food. Yeah. And the thing was there, it wasn't about a diet. It was about understanding the difference between whole foods, not the whole food diet, whole foods and processed foods, and what you're consuming and what it does. Yes. And at the same time, our food truck, we'd been invited to this vendor fair for one of these big corporations that provides food to local restaurants. That was the end for me. Processed food. We went in there, and it was a convention of why you should buy our processed food for your restaurant. And I was like, this is what people are serving? What? And we did sample, but I got so sick from it. Just little samples. And so all of the lessons I'd been learning in Living Fierce Club, knowing what my body could do, that it started making a connection to me that, oh, wait a minute, I can't just eat everything. It doesn't feel good. And the reason is because it's not whole foods. There's nothing in here that my body that even wants.
Yeah.
Your body is fighting and rejecting what you're taking.
Right.
And so it was when all of that kind of began to manifest, like I was feeling and seeing, and like I was smelling stuff and getting sick from it. It was like, okay, I see this. And then as I was eating whole foods, my body began to crave them. It just began to crave, like, I feel like spinach. Like, let me do some spinach today.
Yes.
Right. And so I would eat it and I'd feel satisfied.
That's good.
So I was right. And then things were coming together. They were starting to connect. And I think 2020 and through COVID, when we were removed from everything, really was when it began to be apparent that I could do this.
Absolutely.
I could survive.
Oh my goodness, the world was closed. You know, if you wanted or craved something, you couldn't get your hands on it.
And if you need to go to the gym, you better go outside and walk.
Hey, my COVID gym is still set up in the garage.
Right.
I mean, and just this week, since they're opening a gym closer to my house, I'm like, I guess I'll get back into the routine of going to the gym. And I mean, I can't deny there's nothing like the energy of the gym, but I was so grateful for every piece of equipment that I had at home to get me through, because my goodness, it had been so much a part of my routine. At that point, I think I was going maybe 6 days a week. Yeah. And so to go from 6 days a week to, nothing, it's like, thank God I had everything I had, because just like you said, that voice, like, what are you doing? You're not challenging yourself the way you used to, you're not getting that good sweat like you're used to getting. So, right.
And that's where mindset is so important, because what happened for me is, unfortunately, I don't have a home gym, but like things became like what you use, like for walking further, like instead of parking right up in front of the grocery store, literally I would park in the back and walk up or jog or whatever.
Yes.
You start, your mind, when you got that bug, your mind won't let anything stop you.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
It's like nothing will stop you. Whatever it is, like I'll be like, I'm just gonna run up there. I'll park far, pick me up way down there. And I'll run, and my husband's like speeding up behind me. I'm like, slow down, I can't run that fast.
But yes, you can make a workout out of anything. Yes.
Exactly. And that's a mindset issue. And that's why, to me, 80% of this battle is, and again, in mental health, I'm finding more and more your anxiety your mind, it's your head. Let's work on your head.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's the 90% of the battle.
Right. It absolutely is. And I mean, the different challenges, that if you find that for yourself, or like you said, I'm going to do this incline at 5 for a minute. Okay, I'm going to go to 6 and do 2 minutes. It's just that continued challenge. And for me, it was running initially. Yeah. And it was how far can I run? And, of course, with breaks in between. And I got to the point where I wanted to run a marathon. Didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
But it was striving for it. It was, I want to see how far I can go. And that giving the momentum to go out there each and every day, or every other day, or however often, to make an effort towards that personal goal.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's the thing that's so, I think, complicated. That's where people get stuck. They delve right into solving the problem, which is my weight.
Yes.
Really, it's what's keeping you weighed down for real. You need to look at. And that part is, nobody will know. They don't want to look at that. Most people can't and don't want to. Yeah.
That's tough. That's that look in the mirror, and it forces that, it forces some admissions to self, what's keeping me weighed down is I might not be able to do this well, or I'm self-conscious about this, or I haven't gotten over, or I'm still grieving. So it's those deeper things that we tend to overlook, that are more challenging to overlook, that literally can keep us weighed down. And it's not to say that skinny people or fit people don't have
No, not at
those
all.
challenges. It's not to say that at all. It's just the understanding that there's something in all of us that we have to work to overcome, to fight, to attempt to be the best versions of ourselves.
Yep.
And it goes with, are we willing to be honest with ourselves about that? And we can't be honest with ourselves.
And that's how I do my therapy. I always say, I'm like, listen, if you're looking for a perfect clinician that's going to start quoting, Erik Erikson's Stages of Development, I'm not the one. I am speaking to you in normal language that's not going to sound clinical, but you'll understand what I'm saying. But it's like, it's having that like real conversation with people about what's not, let's not keep it fake.
Yes.
Do you really want to know? Do you really want to solve the problem?
Yes.
Because if you do, then we're going to talk about what's real.
Yeah.
Right. And then, and again, I'm still working through, like, there's layers of yourself. Like, there's things that don't have anything to do with anything, but that are a part of me that I need to address to understand me. Yes. And then be okay with being me.
Exactly.
Because people will look at you, you'll look at how the world has, how you're supposed to be, and then measure yourself to that. Well, what does that even mean? If we all have a unique fingerprint, how the heck are we all supposed to be the same?
Right.
What?
Right. That's not reasonable or rational at all.
It doesn't make sense.
It does not. It doesn't. But, all such good points about the work. It's not just doing this one thing, or, she's got her life together because she's always working out. No, what it is for me is that it helps me expel the energy that, and being a therapist, that we take in on a daily basis, by being willing, yes, to tackle the problems of each and every person that we see, in addition to our own personal problems, the issues with our families, and whatever we've got going on. And then for me, it makes me a better version of a wife, a mom, a therapist, because I have to put time in for myself to be good for everybody else. And the gym is that for me. It's me saying, like you said, there is no if I work out, it's when I'm working out. It's going to happen. Doesn't matter what time I need to get up. Doesn't matter how late I need to go to bed. If, it's a day of the week that ends in day, I'm going to work out.
And for me, sometimes if I can't get to the gym because we're so busy, if I have to drop and plank for 5 minutes, then that is my workout. I mean, like, something has to happen, some movement in that direction. So it's not even putting this pressure on, like, whatever that is for you, at whatever your plan is. Like, just be consistent. So it's funny. I haven't done a lot of like workout stuff since I've been like lost this weight. It's just kind of started melting off. I never thought it was going to happen, but it did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening. But the other day I was at the restaurant, and for some reason I said to myself, I just do 3 push-ups, I'll feel good.
Okay.
So nobody, it's before we were either closed or we hadn't opened yet. I dropped down and I was like, okay. I started to push myself up. I did to 3, and the next thing you know, I went to 10.
Isn't that something? Didn't realize your own strength. Yeah.
Didn't realize it. But the thing for me is that you have to put something there as a goal.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't intend to do 10, but when I saw I could go easily past 2, 3, then it was 4, 5. I probably could have kept going, but I said, no, don't break this. Just do 10 is good. It's good. Leave it. But it's putting something in front of yourself. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It's just, let me do this consistently every day.
Yes.
It doesn't have to, and it'll grow because you'll get bored with it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just keep doing 5 knee lifts. That's boring. You're going to take it to the next level. You naturally will do that.
Right. And these challenges, these personal challenges are born
Yes.
And it's for you. It's not for anybody else. It's not to show anything to anybody else. It's very much just to keep you engaged and
Yes.
finding ways to entertain, challenge, overcome, and continue to overcome, those personal physical barriers that have kept you from getting to these levels previously in life. And it's an amazing feeling
It's
when
such
you're
a
able to push out, kick out 10 push-ups or do 2 pull-ups when you never could do pull-ups at all.
yep.
And it's that, affirmation, I'm doing the right thing, I'm going about this the right way. And so, life happens. We know that as social workers, as wives, moms, sisters, neighbors, in all these different roles, it's so easy to put the priorities of those roles in front of ourselves. But, in taking care of ourselves, we can ensure we're the best for those roles.
Exactly.
And so it's so important to find that time. Like you said, it doesn't have to be anything big.
Right.
It be 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, just building on that consistency and engaging yourself, whatever works best for you. You can't run anybody else's race.
Nope. And that's the thing. I think that's the main thing with the mindset.
Yes.
It's freeing yourself from that notion.
Yes.
You have to. This is your journey at your pace and your timing. You're going to speed up and slow down as you need to. And
Yes.
like I tell my client, the only failure is when you lie down and you never get back up.
Right.
Right. It doesn't matter if you take 10 steps back. That's okay. When you lie down 10 steps back and then don't get back up, then that's a failure. You still can move. You can move 30 steps forward after that.
Absolutely.
Right. And so you just have to have that mindset that you're moving. You're consistently moving towards something that is desired, like whatever that, whether it's like, you know what I'm saying, whatever your motivation is, but
Absolutely.
it's your mind has to be purely engaged.
Yeah.
And when I say purely, it's like it cannot have tainted motives, right?
Oh, yeah.
It has to be being the best version of yourself for where we are. We're here to give, to share knowledge, right? So if you're not, that's not your motive to build or to create, it's going to be harder.
Exactly.
To maintain that momentum.
It's
going to
not
be
authentic.
harder.
Yeah.
It's not authentic. Exactly.
Absolutely. So 320 that's recorded as your heaviest on record.
Yes.
How far are you okay with saying how far where you are now?
340. 240. 240.
That's amazing.
240.
240. That's amazing.
Yes. And the inch, I mean, and that's the other part of this. I want to say, like, weight is relative. Inches have been huge for me.
They are
huge. My body's
not always about the scale. Yes. Right. It is not always about the scale. Yes.
Inches have been
and
huge.
That's a shift too, because that's what we're taught,
Exactly.
All about that number. And you can, like you said, lose so much in inches and be just as blown away.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Congratulations
Thank
to you.
I'm like, I literally was thinking back. I mean, I stopped paying attention to weight after I had my last child that is now 15. And I remember the only reason I was this is crazy. The only reason I paid attention to weight with that child, I lost weight so I could get pregnant because I knew I did not want to be a certain weight pregnant.
Yes.
So I literally at that time had lost weight just so I could pick weight back up.
Oh my
It's crazy. Goodness. And that's the last, and I think that was at that time, I think it was 265. Like that was 15 years ago. So that's the last time I had really had some consistent weight loss. So for me, I'm not letting go.
Good for you. Good for you.
Like moving energy. Like I feel taller, which is weird, but like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not losing that momentum. It's taken too much to get here to just to give it away for what.
Absolutely. It's not worth it. All this progress.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. So proud of you.
Thank
you. This is a journey. So it's one, like you say, I'm not losing this momentum. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
And, it's just amazing because I know we all had those periods where we just never thought,
Never.
We never thought I would get to this number, or we think I can't do that. And, here we are beating these odds, and every day continuing to do that. Every time I work out, I'm like, that's a win,
Exactly.
every single time.
Exactly.
And so it starts here, but, if you allow yourself, you can go beyond, workouts that you never even imagined for yourself. You can obtain the health that the doctor told you need medication, and this is by no way to say stop taking medication. So we are not saying that. Follow your doctor's recommendations, but understand that just like that's an option, there's other options available as well.
And definitely, you have to look at predisposition. My family tends to be on the more healthy side. They have some health issues, but it's more related to choice. Right? Like my grandma probably should have stopped eating them 99-cent Whoppers a long time ago, but she loved her 99-cent Whoppers, and so did her cholesterol. So you have that. You have to know, like you've got to make the choices that are going to help you stay in line with what you're doing.
Exactly.
But it gets easier because once you get a taste of, really, it's when you get a taste of success. When I really started seeing the weight coming off, and then it was like, oh, I'm doing this. Oh, this is because of what I'm choices. Oh, that salad for lunch that was so fulfilling. Like when you start recognizing that it's you, and you actually have, because it really is about the control. Like I have control over what I can and can't do with my body. And it feels good to have results that make me feel good.
Right.
Not anybody else.
Exactly.
My husband, I worry about him, but anybody else, whatever. Right?
Absolutely.
It's me. So.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing your amazing story and your journey about, how you've gotten to this incredible place of, using your oils and making better dietary choices and physically challenging yourself to all work towards, being this improved version of yourself. And, if you could think of a piece of advice that you wish you had known X amount of years ago, what would you say? What do you want to leave all of our watchers with?
Oh God, there's too much. There's too many things. I think it really is, you need to begin to see a version of yourself. It is that fierce self. It is seeing the person that you aspire to be, independent of everything and everyone else. And I'm not saying that in a selfish way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I was to, I don't want to look through my husband's eyes to visualize myself.
Right.
I need to look in the mirror and see what I want to be, the person, and not just physically, but how I feel about myself, how I feel about the world, what I want to give back. Yeah. And I think you have to sit down and set a vision of yourself, your most fierce self, and you have to see that self actualizing every day. You really have to sit down with yourself every single day in order to accomplish your mission. That's my advice.
And be willing to take an honest look at self, and and it's okay if that particular day things didn't go the way that you envisioned or what you desire. It's just so the next day, all right, how do I not repeat this?
Well, it's all part of the journey.
It is. It really is a part of the journey. And so that's really good advice. So I really want to thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Perspective Speak. I'll be sure to leave your information at the end of this video if anyone wants to reach out to Karmaria. She is located up in Fredericksburg still.
That's correct.
Fredericksburg, Virginia. And I'll be sure to leave our practice information as well if any of you would like to reach out to us for support. We're both social workers. We're both dedicated to helping our clients become improved versions. So thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Natasha Lamb, founder of Perspectives Counseling of Northeast Florida. Karmaria, thank you again for coming on. All right, everybody, we'll see you next time around. Take care.